Welcome back to another episode of the Track World News Podcast. My name is Colin Waitzman. I'm going to be your host today, alongside with Mr. Noah Williams. Noah, how you doing today, man?
Feeling good, man. Blessed and highly favored as always. What's going on, brother?
Doing well. I know you were saying before the show you about to get an orange tree, something like that.
Yeah, get me a little orange tree, man. You know, I gotta take care of the backyard a little bit. I got some weeding to do. Got to put down a little, get that taken care of, get the nasty stuff out of there. But I want to kind of start growing my own stuff, because you know exactly what you eating, which is, it's a dream of mine. So I want to get it done.
There you go. We see you be making the what is it, like the juices, the green tea juices. So now it's just gonna be like all coming from the garden, huh?
Yeah, man, coming from the garden. And like I said, this is a dream of mine. This would be kind of like self-sufficient almost, be able to survive off the land. So, it's in the works.
Noah Williams, the botanist or whatever it is, those people that make have your own greenhouse. My grandfather was like the same. We had like radishes and tomatoes and a whole bunch of stuff in my backyard. So like he was really into it. It's really nice to be able to like make your own stuff. So good luck
Man,
with it.
yeah, I got a great appreciation for it. We had stuff like that as a kid, like kind of just like tomatoes, cucumbers, squash, eggplant, little stuff like that. So it's kind of like embedded in me at this point. So I got to get it going for myself, man.
There you go. Good luck. Now, I guess that's enough plant and produce talk. Let's get into some track and field. We have a lot of stuff going on here. First, thank you all for listening and tuning in. The first two episodes have been doing really well, so appreciate it. So we'll give a brief overview of the topics we're going to talk about. First, the Noah Lyles 400-meter comment kind of controversy, quote unquote. Team USA being disqualified from the 4x4 in the World Relays. As a note, we're recording this on Sunday morning, so we saw the prelims. The finals haven't happened yet, so if there's anything that's happened in the finals, we haven't gone through with those at this time. And then we will go right into, we have our sprinters actually running slower than what we are being told. We're told that sprinters are running slower. Is that true? Or is it not true? And we'll close off with some Quincy Wilson news. Obviously, he ran a 45-17, signing with WME Sports. We'll go over that as well. So, Noah, we'll start with you. Obviously, got some with the Noah Lyles comments in the 4x4. What are your thoughts with all that going on?
Yeah, man, I think there's a lot going on as far as the political scene in the 4x400 meters, starting back with the indoor season, right? So Noah basically making a claim that they put me on the 4x4. I really wanted to run it on the indoor team, and it caused a lot of controversy. A lot of people having a lot of problems with it, and people getting threatened to lose their job over the situation. And his demeanor or reaction to it is like, well, run faster and push me out of the contention, right? So my take on it, I run the 400 meter, as y'all know, right? So my take on it is, as a competitor, I'm 100% behind him. Like I can't fake the funk, right? So I looked at his indoor 400-meter split from the indoor meet, and he ran 45.68, right? On an indoor track, on a 200-meter track. Now, if you look at the times, the split times from Team USA yesterday, Ja'Cory Patterson, 45.55, Christopher Bailey, 44.66, Champion Allison, 44.98, and Bryce Dedman, 45.23. So I was always taught, from an indoor to outdoor conversion over 400 meters, especially on a split, you can cut off at least 0.8 seconds, eight tenths of a second, right? So that would already put Noah at a 44.8. So these guys that are complaining and doing this, that, the third, or this is the 400, he's a short sprinter. Well, to be frank, just run faster, quite literally, like he said. I would like to see Noah run an open 400 so he could really put his name in the hat, or, you know what I'm saying, his name in the hat, and really like solidify, like, yeah, I ran 45 flat in the open. Now what, right? Because I think to this date, there's only been 3 Americans run sub 45, and I think that's Vernon Norwood, Michael Norman, and Bryce Dedman. There might be a couple more, maybe some collegiates that I didn't check out, but as of right now, that Team USA pool, they're not doing anything quote unquote special, right? That would put Noah out of the contention for being on the relay team. And when you look at it from a publicity standpoint, a marketing standpoint, would you put, if I'm trying to grow my brand, if I'm trying to market Team USA, if I'm trying to market track and field, do I want to put a guy that, no offense to anybody in the sport, has 3,000 followers on all social media networks, not many people know his name, and he's running 45.5 on a split? Or do I want to put probably the biggest name and face in the sport in probably the most premier event in the sport if they're going to run the same time? You did what I'm saying? There's no way I could give the nod or the credit to a guy just because he runs the 400 as his main event. Well, Noah is running the same time as you, and he's got a bigger name. He's going to help the sport grow. He's going to help the team grow. So for all of those reasons I just mentioned, I really don't have a problem with Noah being on the 4x4. All I need from him, just run an open. I'm going to talk to him this week. I'm going to talk to Noah this week. I'll probably see him on Tuesday. I'm going to talk to Noah, and I was just, we go be in Jamaica. You can hop in the 400 there. We'll be having home meets all the time. You can hop in the 400 there. I don't know how much that'll mess with his training and what he's trying to do, but if he can run an open 4, man, if that boy gets, because he could get 4 golds in Paris, man. So that would be special. So, like I said, man, that's why I don't have a problem with Noah being on this relay or even in contention for it.
All right. So I see where you're coming from. I'm gonna take the other side of things real quick. So,
Okay.
like, I get the star power of it. Like, he's the biggest name in the sport right now. Definitely on the men's side of things in the U.S. And I don't think it's like very close, like, to who the next person is. And so I get that. Where I'm seeing it from is determining. So what is, like, when you're putting people on relays, what's most important? Like, are we going to just put, like, hey, who shows on paper who are the 4 best and most qualified people on that relay? Or are we going to put, like, who has the bigger, star power onto this? We've seen this with relays in the past. Like, this isn't new, and I recognize it. Like, in the Olympics in 2021, they put Allison Felix on that 4x4 over was it Irby, I think, who actually won USA. So you have the US champion not actually in the 4x4, which is wild. Same here, where Noah was on the 4x4, and the individual, I can't remember his name, who actually won at USA's, he wasn't on it. Now, he also didn't perform very well. He didn't make it to the final in the Open 400 the day before. But it's what I'm seeing is, like, so you have these people that have ran the 400 already. They've shown that they put in the work in the actual championship. And so it's like they have a spot. Like, they should be able to be on this team. It's like, yeah, run faster. But it's like, hey, we actually at least we ran the event. So it's like, you're telling me to run faster, but you ain't even run the event. How can I run faster when you ain't even run it? So it's like, it's like, where do I have to go? What do I have to do to be able to be on this team? And so it's like, yeah, I get that he's the biggest name, and he's like, you want to, like, bring more eyes to the 4x4. You want to put him on there, but at the end of the day, it's like, he ain't run the Open 4, like you said. So it's like, hey, if you ran it, if we've seen you run an Open 4, we know what you've done, then all right, cool, I got it. Like, we've seen it, but he ain't even run it yet.
Yeah, I get it. And shout out to Brian Foss, because I did think that he got slighted, and shout out to Lena, she got slighted as well when that happened. Maybe so, with that corruption of, like, the selection and everything. I think that the US champ in the 400 should absolutely have a lock on the relay. Like, despite what happens in the finals or whatever, if you won USA's, like, you proved that you're the best 400-meter runner in America at that time. So you definitely should be on the relay. So I did feel bad for Brian when it happened, but I still didn't think that you had to compromise Noah being on there. Like, and I'm not even saying it because I know, bro. Like, I see the talent field, and I see what's going on right now, and he's right there with everybody else. So I think that, it's not that big of a deal. But now that we on the topic, though, who would you put on your U.S. men's 4x4 to go win a gold in Paris. We see those boys in Botswana are running fast. The South Africans are running fast. So who would you put right now on the U.S. men's 4x4 to go and beat those guys?
Yeah. Right now, I think the two like solidified spots I feel are definitely Michael Norman as well as Rai Benjamin. I think those are two that are, they should, in my opinion, no brainers to be on the team. And I'm barring injury. I'm not, because I know Michael Norman was injured so I'm assuming that everyone's healthy. I'm not going to assume people aren't healthy. So I'd say those two are the first ones that come to mind. And then I think those next two spots are a little bit more difficult. Vernon has proven to be a consistent 400-meter leg. Like, he's been doing it for a little while now. So he's proven to be on that leg. And the fourth spot can be a little bit of a wild card. I think like there's a couple college kids. I know Ahmad Robinson has shown to be really well. I mean, shoot, you got Quincy Wilson. Like, you have there's a legitimate debate that Quincy, a 16-year-old kid, might be able to be on this 400, the 4x4. It is a possibility. He just ran a 45-17. We'll get into, I'm sure we'll talk about it later. But it's like, there's a possibility of that. Another wild card, I guess you could say, and I like to see how he does because he was injured all of last year, is Michael Cherry. I know he was on that 4x4 at the Olympics. So, like, he's someone where, I want to see how he comes back from the injury that he had, because he was very talented and did really well in 2021. So those are some of the initial names, because we've got a couple of the other 400 names. I guess like Deadman could be in there. I think I mentioned that. Yeah, Deadman could be in there. But then there's a couple big names that are out. I know you're out right now. We had Randolph Ross. He's out until 2025. So it's like we have some of these big 400-meter people. Fred Curley doesn't run the 400 anymore. So there's a lot of people like, hey, what's it going to be? I mean, so could Noah Lyles be in there? Yeah, of course. Could you throw Grant Holloway in that 4x4? I mean, he's definitely talked about wanting to be on a relay as well. So I think there's a lot of people that could be on that short list of who's going to be there.
Yeah, definitely a lot of names. You named 2 locks. I think it's 3 locks. So my pop-off leg is going to be Bryce Deadman. Bryce is my pop-off. My anchor is Rai Benjamin. Okay, Rai going to bring it home. Now, the 2 and the 3 spots, I think, could be very interchangeable, but Norman's going to take one of those spots. Now, depending on who your 4th guy is going to determine where I'm putting Norman. If I got Noah, I might throw Noah on the second leg. It's a big leg. It's an important leg. But with his 200-meter speed, like, I would lean to put Noah on the second leg, throw Norman on the third, anchor Rai, gold medal in Paris. That's how I see it. And if it's not going to be Noah in the mix, I would either put Vernon or Elijah Godwin in that mix there. So I see Elijah train every day, and that boy is nice. Mm-hmm. That boy is nice. So that's kind of my 4 to 6 guys that I'll put in the top contention. Obviously, I don't want to disrespect anybody else, but the way that I see it right now, those are like the coldest, strongest, most consistent 400-meter runners that we got right now to represent the country for a relay.
Yeah, I see it. Like, I think there's all good people. It's like that 4th spot, I think, like, because it's so close right now. Like you were mentioning, like, hey, the state of where this 4x4 is, like, there's a lot of individuals that are in that, same kind of, I guess low 45s, high 44s, right in that time frame, where like you said, there's probably 5 other people that you could be putting on that thing. A lot of them that'll be on, whether it be a mixed relay or doing the 400 hurdles. So it's a lot of really talented individuals. Before we go off this, I got to throw to you. So you were on the was it the World Indoors 2023? Was it
22? Yeah,
22.
Yeah,
22. All right. Imagine that this was this past year, and Noah, they were like, "Hey, look, we're putting Noah Lyles on this team. Noah, sorry, you're not going to be on this 4x4." what would your thoughts have been if that was the situation where, hey, your spot's getting taken? So you're saying, hey, you're cool with it, but what if it's
you know
that
what?
guy?
I could do one better. So on the 2022 year, I also made the outdoor team, right? And I was slated to run the 4x4 prelim, getting ready, warming up with the guys, you know what I'm saying? And coach pulled me aside. He said, look, we're going to put Trevor on the relay, Trevor Bassett. I said, okay, all right, that's cool. He a 400 hurdler. I got respect for Trevor. I'm cool with Trevor. You know what I'm saying? But I had to look at it like, okay, this is a coach's decision. They feel as though no matter what I did at the trials, I think I got like 6th place at trials, so I made the team. And I had to come to myself like, Noah, you allowed yourself to give them an opportunity to put somebody over you, if that makes sense. Had I ran 43.8, it would have been no debate. Noah, you're on the relay, right? But I left it questionable. I might have ran like 45 flat or 45.2, something like that. I think it was 45.05. So I left a question mark like, he's ran 45 flat, but we think Trevor could do that too. So we're going to put Trevor. And same thing, Noah ran 45 flat. I think Noah Lyles can run 45 flat, so we could put him on there. But if I'm running 44 flat, 44.2, there's no debating, right? So I looked at it like, okay, this might be a little bit of a political game, but at the end of the day, if I ran faster, if I control what I could control better, it's nothing they could do to slight me. That's kind of my thing about it, right? 400-meter guys, you mad? Run faster. Quite literally, run faster, you know? So, yeah,
Right.
that was my actual real life reaction. I was obviously upset. Everybody wanted to represent the country and stuff, especially when you think you is, you know, doing interviews preemptively and all this stuff. And then, you know, you're not on it. It's like, you know, that's kind of like a test as a man too. Like, how you gonna react as an athlete? You know, you can't let that stuff kind of overcome your being and overcome your energy. So, yeah.
All right, there you go. Okay, you got it. I was a little inside scoop. Yeah, that's tough, man. Going like on in it and then different ways. Well, get that. Stick on the 400, the 4x4. This is like the 400 show. So Noah's got the cook. Yesterday, or I guess 2 days ago, when this came out, Team USA, unfortunately, for the men's side, was DQ'd in World Relays. They changed in exchange zones. So when they were handing it, I think it was handing off to champion Allison, I believe, who I think was he the third leg? I can't remember.
Third
Leg. So handing off to him. He moved positions within there and not allowed to do that. Got DQ'd. I know you said you had a few things you want to go on with this, but what are your thoughts on that DQ? Like in high school, I think, and all that, like you do this on almost any other place, it doesn't matter. You can just move. Like I remember in high school, people just completely shifting until the last second. What's your thoughts on this disqualification? Because like they won pretty handily at the end of the year.
Yeah. I mean, the disqualification is what it is. I think that it is the rule. I want to vouch for my guys. You know, I know all of these guys, so I want to vouch for them. But when you start getting on that collegiate upper echelon collegiate circuit and any, you know, professional 4x4, those officials are very strict. When the guys get to the 200-meter mark, when the second leg gets to the 200-meter mark, or whoever it is, whoever has the lead, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to allow you to shift around. Whether you've been through it or you haven't been through it. I've been on a lot of relays where, you know, my guys is in 4th, you know, and then all of a sudden some changes happen and they're moving around and I want to move too because, like my guys in front. But the official gets really, really stiff about that. I remember that happened to Trinidad last year at Worlds, either last year or 2 years ago at Worlds. But you know, it's like a learning lesson. I saw Champ, he said, you know, I didn't know. And, you know, that's fair. I'll give it to him. He didn't know. But it's just a little bit of a letdown because those guys definitely would be in medal contention. They get to run still, which is good. They hit the qualifying time for Olympics, so they'll be there. But it's just a little, you know, a little disappointing that they can't get the medal and get the prize money and stuff like that and have those accomplishments under their belts as that quartet there. But, you know, it's not like a huge deal. I just wish I wish it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. And And so this is something like I don't know as much about World Relays. I'm trying to, become a little bit or well versed. So let's just say, for example, if instead of them, getting DQ'd and not running the time and still running the time, but with the exchange, let's say they drop the baton, or let's say Team USA, or whatever, drops a baton at World Relays, and they don't hit the mark. Is that like then USA is just not in the Olympic final? Like that's the only time that they get it? Like.
That's a good question. I'm not 100% positive, so I don't want to like completely speak on it, but I believe that if you hit like a certain standard or run like in the top X ranking in the world, maybe so even after this weekend, they still would have an opportunity to be in Paris, but I'm not 100% sure, so I don't take my word on that all the way, you know?
Yeah, I feel like that's got to be the case because, like, I could just imagine if, like, the Jamaican women or the USA men, imagine they like get DQ'd in this thing, and then you don't get in the Olympics. That would be. There's got to be. I feel like because
Yeah.
like that, but that's like I don't know too much. I'm not in the World Relays, but it's no, it's cool. Is that a rule that's commonly known? Like I had no idea that you weren't allowed to shift in the exchange zones. Like is that something that like you all like go through before the 4x4, or is it a less common rule that they have?
I think that I would say it's a less common rule, but like I said, I have personally experienced being on the track and looking at the 200 mark. The official gonna put you guys in your place, pause, and you know what I'm saying, like I'm like, but my man is in front of him, and I've actually had officials that say, okay, you could go ahead in front, and I've also had officials say, nah, you got to stay there. That's where they was at the 200-meter mark. So it's almost like a subjective, like, officials not knowing what's going on, but I think that the official rule is like, where they are at the 200-meter mark. That's where this lineup has to remain. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. If you saw, because earlier in the mixed 4x4 with Team Ireland, they were in last when they were handing it off to Adelke, and then they gave it to Rashida Adelke, got the baton in dead last, and then got them all the way up to first. And she had to pass the baton off to the person all the way in last. So she's in lane 1, goes all the way out to like lane 5, and then has to go all the way back because like she just hawked them all down in that last 200 meters. And so unfortunate. Like they said, it looked like Champ Allison took it like a champ. He understood what was going on. So yeah, Stington won't be able to get the prize money, but it's the learning lesson. So next time they're in that in the situation for Olympics or whatever it may be, it's not going to happen again.
Yeah. So, and by the way, I did not like that order at all that they ran, based on the type of runners that those guys are. Everybody that runs the 400 knows that Christopher Bailey's more of like a closing speed kind of guy, like a I'm gonna outkick you kind of guy, and not like a beat you to the break. In that second leg, they had Christopher Bailey on the second leg, and they had Ja'Cory Patterson as pop off. I probably would have switched that because Ja'Cory's known to run a really fast 200. I wasn't there. I'm not a coach, but just from viewing it, I already thought that was a mistake looking at the order. But you live and you learn with everything.
There you go. So then we'll stick with a little bit of World Relays. I know you went for the 4x1. We had some good names coming out. We had Courtney Lindsay, at least for USA, starting off. Kenny Bednarek. I think it was Kyrie King that was third, and then Noah Lyles bringing it on home. We saw like I don't know why we even talk about 4x1 splits, but Kenny Bednarek split like an 891. Like it's just like, to me. Like, do you care about 4x1 splits? Does anyone care about them? And just like, even outside of that, what were your thoughts on how they did?
Great performance by the guys. First of all, tip my cap to all 4 of those guys. A 4x1 split doesn't matter, bro. Like if you come to me talking about a 4x100 split, like you are dismissed from talking track with me. But I think it's more about an optics kind of thing, right? You can see, especially on the first leg, like if somebody broke a stagger. Second leg, if somebody extended something, right? Like third leg, if somebody closed the gap, and then that anchor, Noah ran a beautiful anchor, man. That was nice. That was nice. But all four of the guys, they looked really good. I think the time was 37.4 or 37.6 or something like
Yeah.
that. But really impressive. I was just glad they had clean handoffs around the track. Um, all four of those guys train in Orlando area, which is cool. They did a good job. They did a good job, man. I'm proud of those guys for what they did. So excited to see them in the next round if they keep that order or what they do.
Yeah, no, I like that as well. And like you said, 4x1 splits are cooked. You got he's like, hey, let's take a look at these 4x1 splits, and you've got Kenny Bednarik 891, Courtney Lindsay 1032. Like you telling me that means nothing, man. Like that means absolutely. You're telling me Courtney Lindsay running times like a high, really like an elite high schooler, and then you're telling me Kenny Bednarik as if he's running, Usain Bolt is getting cooked by him. Like, no, they're completely different things. I don't even know why we even bring it up. But yeah, like I thought great leg, and hopefully like this will show, because I know Kenny's been talking about like, hey, he wants to get on these relays, like, put him on there. Like, what's he got to do? And hey, you know what you got to do? Participate in one. Do it in the World Relays. That can get your name in as a potential candidate. So glad to put him in there. Yeah, like you said, handoffs are clean. That's been an issue for Team USA since like the 80s. So it's good to see that those going well. And let's see how they do in this final. I know it'll probably be USA versus Canada, like it's been for a long time to come. But who do you think is going to be coming up on top here?
Come on, man. Come on, man. You know I'm rolling with my boys, man. The Statesmen. The Statesmen, man. The quartet. The American guys. I'm rolling with them all day. Hey, did you see the interview that Fred did with Anson? I think his name is Anson.
Yeah.
And they kind of touched on the relays and stuff like that, man. That was absolutely hilarious. But I'm rolling with US for sure. What about you?
Yeah. So USA, like they should win. I think they have a better team. The only reason I would think Canada would is the chemistry. Like they've been running that same 4x1 team since 2016 in the Olympics. It's been pretty much the same. Brendan Rodney been on that third leg. They got Aaron. They got Andre DeGrasse. They've been running that same dang team for almost an entire decade. Like that is never you don't get a same 4x1 team in Olympic. Like the one that's running right now ain't going to be the same one that's going to be running in 100 days from now in the Olympics for USA, and it's going to be different. So it's completely different. I know chemistry is important. I don't know how often they're training, but I feel like with this only being the relay, so it's not like other people, they weren't training for other events. It's not like Noah Lyles was focused in on the 200 today or whatever it was. So they had all this time to work on it, which was really good. So I'm going with USA. I think they win it. Canada will be up there, but I'm going to be interesting. Like Anson, if you're watching, like what's going to happen soon? Because you've been running the same team. Are we like seeing like the Warriors right now? Y'all were dominant for all these years, and now Klay Thompson ain't making threes like he used to, and Steph Curry, you got drained. So it's like, hey, your big group, you were dominant for so long, but who's next? What y'all got next? I don't know. We'll have to see.
When you said that, bro, I was thinking exactly the same thing. Like, man, well, the Warriors, they've been together for a minute now. They looking as good as they used to for them. So, man, I think that the States got younger and better talent right now. Chemistry's cool and everything. Like, good handoffs are definitely important, but rolling with the U.S., man.
I know you were. It's different, obviously, in college versus pro, but you were on that 4x1 for LSU. Like, how often were you guys actually going through and working on those handoffs versus you, Terrence Lair, like all y'all were doing very different events. Like you're working on the 4, he's working on the 1, the 2, and all that other stuff. Like, how often were you guys actually practicing those handoffs?
I think once a week we would do a little practice run, but it kind of was like if we got it right on the first one, that was it. We don't need to do it anymore. If we fucked it up a few times, we would run it back. So not too often. Definitely more often than these guys are doing it though. These professionals. So probably like once a week, get that chemistry and that rhythm.
Bet.
Yeah.
And another thing that we got going on. So I've been seeing this. I'm sure you've been seeing this. It's all over Twitter. People talking about athletes are slow right now. People are running bad times, absolutely washed. It's like the competition's like that's all I'm seeing. We're seeing, I think Hunter Woodall, is coming to some defense of people like, it's, people are training in heavy training cycles. Don't worry about it. Other people like, oh, well, you're still, running slow and all that stuff. You've been seeing this on Twitter, I'm assuming, of course. Yeah. It's everywhere. So first, I got to talk about it. First, to determine, are we actually running slower right now than as people are saying? Because it seems like it's a pandemic. It's something that like we got to turn the sirens on. We're running awful. So listen here, I'm going to break down some numbers over the previous couple years. So there's going to be a lot of numbers coming at y'all, but just be ready. So I'm going to go over where we're at currently in 2024. We'll go to 2023 last year, 2022, and then 2021, the last Olympic cycle, to see where we're at. So I've got the world lead in the 100, 200, and 400 for the men and the women on May 5th of each year. So where people are at for each of the event. We'll start with the 100 for the men. So right now, 993 is the lead by Christian Miller, obviously the high schooler. 991 is the lead in 2023, which was by I think Terrence Jones, who was in college. And 2022, it was 990, which was by Benjamin Asmati. And then in 2021, the last Olympic year, it was 988 by Trayvon Bromell. And so we're running a little bit slower. Sure, that's correct, from 988 to 993. But what you'll notice is that those last three people are all college and high school athletes. So obviously, as we know, college and high school athletes have been running most of their season. Most college athletes' seasons are going to be ending in the next few weeks because we have conference championships coming up next week. And then you have NCAAs, almost there. So college athletes are already almost done. You're peaking right now at this point. High school athletes, even more so, where, Christian, your state championships are next weekend. Some were this weekend, actually, for Texas. And so to see world leading times coming from most NCAA athletes, especially on the men's 100, it's like, why are we freaking out? Like, professional athletes aren't running this fast, at least in the 100 on the men's side, as consistently. So it's like people are saying, oh, we're running super slow. It's not really the case. I got more numbers, though, for you. Oh, Colin, you're just cherry picking. Let's go over other events then. Why not? 200 in 2021, where we were running a 1981. That was by a college athlete. In 2022, it was 1949. That was Arian Knighton when he opened up early, who was still in high school at the time. 1979 last year, and then 1971 this year. So outside of Arian Knighton's 1949, we've been getting faster in the 200 on the men's side. What about the 400 meters? Noah, who's the world lead at this point in 2021 in the 400?
This guy.
This guy. He was also in college at the time as well. 44:30 in the 400. 44:22 in 2022. 43.91 last year and 44.10 this year. In other words, about the same. It's been actually getting faster, each year pretty much that we've been doing it. How about on the women's side? It's 10.77 in the 100, 10.76 last year, 10.87 in 2022, which was by a college athlete, Julian Alfred, and then 10.72 in 2021, the last Olympic year. In other words, it's hovering right around that same time. We could keep going in the 200, 22:08, 21:91, 21:87, 22:03. So what I'm saying is people are so concerned and believing that we're running slower right now, but it's not true. We're running the same type of times, and it's the same type of athletes that are running. Like, it's college athletes, it's high school athletes that are running fast right now because that makes sense. So everyone's saying, oh, all these times are getting slower. Give it time. Because I also remembered a lot of people saying, oh, 2022 was one of the fastest years we've seen. Oh, 2021 was one of the fastest years we've seen. All right, well, we're still in the same place as where we were for those years. So let's stop freaking out. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the whole argument is just a little bit ludicrous. and ignorant too. Like, I think Hunter did a great job on Twitter. If you didn't see it, I'll try to my best to kind of summarize what he was saying and defending the pros at this time of the year. So basically, this is like the heaviest workload for a professional athlete, professional track and field athlete. Right around this time is when things start to back off a little bit and you'll see times drop a lot. But guys, Monday through Thursday are squatting 400 pounds, power cleaning 300 pounds, like doing a lot of very intense, heavy load lifting and super, super, super intense workouts on the track as well. So by the time we get to track meets on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're a little bit fatigued already, right? And we're running to kind of get a rhythm, running, try to get, work on some things. But nobody in the pro circuit should be running fast, world leading times, crazy outliers this early in the season. And if they are, it's probably cause for some concern because you can only hold that so long. You can only run those crazy ass times so many times before your body starts to break down. And if you're doing it this early in the season, it might be like a check engine light kind of moment, right? So I loved what Hunter said, man, and those people that are speaking on it are just really ignorant to the sport. We see it all the time in our sport, just a lot of ignorance. Social media, internet coaching, and all that other nonsense. But, I think everybody's in a really good place. If you watch the races, it's been entertaining too. So the sport's in a good place, man. People are running fast. It's a myth. We're myth busters right now.
Myth has been busted. There you go. Are people actually running slower right now? Myth busted. No, yeah, it's like, sure, I guess we don't have that every once in a while. People, at least in the 100, you're looking for that, 9-7. You're looking for those like that 10, if on the women's side, that 10-6 or that 10-5. Like you're looking for those crazy, things. And it's like those are outliers. Like they don't happen very often. And so when you do, it's like celebrate, recognize, and enjoy it. But it doesn't they don't happen that much for a reason. Because it's super, super impressive. It's like once you've reached that peak, it's hard to always be at that peak. So it's like, yeah, everyone's getting faster and times are getting faster. I think times are also getting a lot more consistent versus, if you're like, oh yeah, we were running so much faster in 2009, 2008, or we're running the same type of times. What was the variance in those things? It's like, all right, so you have a guy who ran maybe a 9, a 9-7, 9-8. Okay, what was he running the rest of the year? Versus now, it's like, sure, everyone's running very, like you're not seeing a ton of variance of, the Christian Colemans aren't going, 10-2 and whatever. It's a similar, you're saying the same window. So no, nothing to be worried about. I think people are running just fine. Let's see how this closes out the year. It's an Olympic year. People are obviously going to be putting in a little extra oomph into things, and we'll have to, see how we finish it out here.
Yeah, man.
So we didn't have it on the our agenda that we were talking about, but this kind of got me thinking about it. I don't know if you saw. It was a similar type of quote. Do you see what Jakob Ingebrigtsen said? When he was asked. Ooh, this is a good one. So I know we don't talk too much distance track, but this was just a cold quote. Like Jakob, he's one of them ones. I can tell you that for sure. He said, "If I'm healthy and I'm not sick, then it's going to be a walk in the park to win at the Olympics, to win in Paris." I was like, damn, like that. I don't think there are many athletes right now that have that sort of confidence talking, especially like press media. Like I think of Noah and Jakob, like those are the two that say that sort of stuff like out loud. Like it was at like the same day, like the same type of meet. That type of confidence just like, is when you, as another athlete, like if you were going up in the 1500 against him, or if somebody else in the 400, like let's say, Michael Norman, and you're lining up, is that something as a competitor, like y'all even care about? Like, oh no, this guy, he's talking like that, he's confident, or is it just like, yeah, line up, we'll see how you do?
Nah, you say something, you talk crazy like that, I gotta show you now. Like that's a little added fuel for the competitors. But for somebody like that, it should be added fuel for him because now he said it, he put it out there in the universe. Now it's like, damn, I gotta back that up, like. So it's gonna be added motivation for everybody. But if Mike Norman is talking crazy like that, you know, it's definitely gonna give me the, all right, bro. Look, I'm gonna show you something too, there, man. Let's not, you know, don't get out of hand, man.
Let me lock in real quick. Let me lock in
Let me
real
lock
quick.
in for real. Let me lock in. So yeah,
Right.
but I love it though. Like I love Jakob been talking too. He been popping it. Like pause. He been talking crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Noah has too, and I love it. And Grant gets a little spicy too with it. With, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes. So you know, I love it, man. I love the controversial type quotes and you know saying hot shit basically. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I love it. So I think it's good for the sport, man. Shout out Jakob, man. Shout out
Yeah,
him.
it's good. Now he's cold. I was like, all right, now I got to tune into this because he's going up against Josh Kerr at Prefontaine Classic, which he's like those two like they hate each other, and it's like I need to see that. I need to see that.
Yeah, it's gonna be smooth.
Yeah, get him in like a celebrity boxing match or something like that after. That'd be crazy.
That's funny.
All right, let's get into just Quincy Wilson. He's just been going off. It's been I think like these past 3 shows we find a way to talk about it because he just keeps doing elite stuff. So we had the East Coast Showcase in PG County in Maryland that just went off, which is essentially the best high schoolers in the East Coast and the best high schoolers in Jamaica. It's a rematch of the Penn Relays, essentially. That's what it is. They just go back at it, and we saw Quincy running a 45-17, 8th fastest time in high school ever in the 400. And right before that, signed with WME Sports. I think probably their most popular athlete, Christian McCaffrey. He signed with them as well as a lot of other names, the NFL player, obviously. But 45-17, like we were talking about it earlier, does he have a legitimate chance to be on this 4x4 potentially?
What do you think? I want to hear what you think first.
Yeah, I think so. There's a few things. I mean, one, like you need to do this a lot because like there's a lot of people that are high schoolers that have run elite times but don't make the Olympics because running at the Olympic trials is just completely different. Like I think Sydney McLaughlin made it in high school. Vashti Cunningham made it in high school in the jumps, which is a little bit different. And I think Noah Lyles made it to the finals of the Olympic trials. I don't think he made the Olympic team in 2016. I think he made the trials.
Yeah, he didn't make the team.
He didn't make the team, but I know he made it. Like I think he made it to the finals of the trials. And so it's like it doesn't really happen often, I guess. And Arian Knighton, who he's one of them ones as well. It's like, could he make it? Like I think he could potentially, but because you have to run your PR of 45-17 essentially 3 times in 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, like whatever 2 days. So you got to run your PR 3 times in a row, essentially for him to be able to get into that. Because if he's got to in order for him to be on that 400-meter team, he would have to do like what you were saying, where it's not just run fast, but you got to run fast and be better than like leave no doubt because you think they're going to just put a high school 16-year-old kid on that unless you're winning that thing or you're like making it like no doubt. Nah, you may be an alternate for like the mixed 4x4, but like to put you as you're definitely on the final of that 4x4 would take him running, mid 44s or 44 low, which at 16 is a tall ask,
Yeah. I don't want to project any type of expectation on him. I think every time that we do that with like a young prodigy, it turns out sour almost every time, right? I think that Quincy is a special talent, probably the most talented 400-meter athlete in high school that I've seen since maybe Tyrese Cooper. I don't remember exactly.
Tyrese Cooper, and then I'd say Michael Norman before them.
Yeah, so Jamal Walton was good too. Throw him in the mix, but I just want to appreciate what this kid is doing right now. Do I think he's going to be on the team? No, I absolutely do not think he's going to be on the team. Can he surprise me? Yeah, heck yeah. He might go on to be the greatest 400-meter runner ever. But a lot of times with these high school kids, they're running so fast so early. It's almost like they're frying themselves. and that longevity isn't always there. There's a lot of variables. There's a lot of cases of people doing incredible in high school and then not really panning out, and then doing so in high school and then being one of the greatest. So I don't want to put too much pressure on this kid, but like I said, I just want to really appreciate the special performances that he's been putting out on a week-to-week basis. I don't expect for him to continue this on to the end of June and go PR 3 times and make the team. Like, I don't expect that. Is it possible? Yeah, absolutely, it's possible. But I don't see it. I don't see it happening. But I'm a fan of Quincy Wilson, man, for sure.
Yeah, he's in the right program for it. Because I think if you're at some just random, regular public high school where you're running this type of time, and your coach goes like, "Oh, I've never had anything like this. I will never have another athlete like this again. I'm going to get the most out of you that I can, run you into the absolute ground because you're a prodigy, and we don't see this." Might be a little bit nervous, but like, he's in a program in a school where, yes, he's obviously, world class, stand out, but they've seen it. Like, Coach Lee has seen these types of people before. Like, okay, he knows how to handle top level athletes that are in high school, because like we've gone through it. It was who was it? The guy from Florida went to Bullis just recently, 400-meter runner. He's a national champion. Didn't he?
I don't know his name. I don't
Ryan
know.
Willie?
Right. Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Ryan did go to Bullis. Yeah, he did go to Bullis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, so he's had like these top level 400-meter runners, coming out. So it's like, I'm sure they're doing different types of training. You're not running the same type of stuff. Their program only has like 16 athletes in there at the school. So it's not a lot of students are on that track team. So it's not like you're running anything crazy or an amount. But yeah, like you said, I mean, to make the team, that would take like, you have to be on your best day 3 days in a row, which, I mean, that can take a lot out of your legs. I mean, you've been in these trials, like you've been in these big, like these meets, like how does it feel as an athlete when you're just doing a regular meet in, random, where you just have 1 400, versus when you got to come back again and then another time? Like, how are you feeling mentally, and then how are you feeling like physically when you're on that third 400 in 3 days?
Yeah. Mentally is definitely taxing. The difference from these meets and every other meet, you're running late. Like, you're sitting on this all day, right? And then you get to the track, especially in the 400 than any other event. I think it's so tense. Everybody's in the same warm-up area. You feel everybody's energy. It's so tense. Mentally, it's like shit, like, okay, now the heat sheet came out. I got to do this. I got to focus on this. I got to make sure I'm top 3 in my heat at least to get a big Q. So it's like a lot of like mental notes that are going on. Okay, remember my training, trust this, got to execute on this, on the actual like technical side of the race. But then it's the environment that changes, right? Especially for an Olympic trials. I got to run in 2021. And it's so tense because you can feel how bad everybody wants it, right? So that's kind of like the mental gymnastics that you're playing. The physical part is, okay, I ran, let's say John Doe goes and runs 45 flat in the first round, 2/10 off his PR. He's going to feel that a little bit on the next day, right? But the semi round is almost like a final. It's a final before the final, right? He got to go out there 44.9 now. Oh, shit. Go back, get treatment. You're not feeling as good. You wake up the next morning, you're not feeling as fresh. But every 7 other competitors that made the final 2, they feeling the same way. So, when you do have that fatigue, physical fatigue, that's when like the biggest dogs are gonna come out in that final, right? And those biggest dogs probably gonna secure those top 3 spots, man. But it's like warfare, man. Especially like Olympic trials and world championship trials are 2 completely different beasts. Like, it's crazy, man. You can feel it in the air. Like, dudes are so locked in, so ready, so just eager to, fulfill that dream when it comes to an Olympic trial. So it's a taxing thing, man, to do it three days in a row. I can only imagine different events, but I can speak on that 400, man, because I've been through it. It's no joke.
So is it like, Because y'all are in some not the I don't think it's called like the green room. What's the area where y'all are like just sitting waiting until you go out onto the
that call room.
The call room, yeah. So is it just like dead silent in there? Are people talking? Like what's the energy in the call room like?
All right, I'm gonna give you I'm gonna paint a picture for you, right? So 90%, it's so much different energy, and I'm a person that really likes to just sit there and observe and see who's like already mentally defeated and who's not. So you get your leg shakers, you get your finger twitchers, your dead silent people with their head down, and there's one person in this 400-meter field. No matter if it's first round, second round, finals, in that call room, he's not shutting up. It's Vernon Norwood. Vernon is the funniest man when it comes to the call room because he can see he nervous. I'm about to mess with him. You know what I'm saying? Get under somebody's skin, get in somebody's head. Man, Vernon is a troll when it comes to stuff like that. Man, I've been in a few call rooms with Vernon, and at this point, when I see him, I just start smiling because I'm like, yo, he about to get on somebody right now. Pause. But for the most part, man, those call rooms are tense. But Vernon likes to keep the mood light.
Yeah, if you were to say guess who it is, I would say it's got to be Vernon talking. I can only, he's got to be just doing that, man. Yo, that's crazy. But yeah, I could imagine. So like going from that or from a high school where it's just like, all right, you're standing next to the track, all right, get on the track, here we go. Versus like now you're in these call rooms, like you got people that who've been running professionally almost as long as you've been alive, like. Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot of stuff, man. It's a lot, but I love to see it. Like, I mean, it's always great having these young, like a young phenom person coming through in the mix because, like, hey, you never know. Maybe they will be able to, throw their name in the hat there. And like with this, like signing with an agent. So this like almost just solidify like he's turning pro. He ain't going to college right now because I know with NIL it's a little different with where. When I was in college, NIL wasn't a thing. I guess you got towards the tail end of it. I think it was when it got started. So are college and high school athletes just signing with agents now more consistently and with the age of NIL, or is it more like, no, this is almost solidifying like, yeah, it's probably going to be turning professional in the next few years here?
Yeah, I think for now he's definitely going to secure that NIL bag. I'm sure his main goal is to sign a professional deal. But I know a few people, collegiate athletes, that are signing with an agency and getting a lot of different deals, just trying to get their name in different pots and stuff like that, makes more money. But I don't know his motives, so we'll see whether it's pro or NIL. But I know he's chasing a bag for sure, and he deserves a bag. So yeah,
there you go. Awesome. And so then we got coming up here in track for this upcoming weekend will be, I think, like a lot of the Power 5 conferences are going to be competing. And so essentially whoever wins the SEC championship, that's just who's going to win pretty much the NCAA championship. We've got a lot of great schools that are going to be coming out. I'm sure when we get in, we'll get our NCAA preview and our discussion when that's going on. But anything that you're looking forward to in our conference championships, whether it's specific events or specific teams to look out for, or maybe a conference or event, anything that you're excited for with this upcoming conference championship that's about to get going here.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to the men's 100 meter in the SEC. I know Favorite Ashton put some stuff down. LSU's got like a quartet of guys that are running well. I'm just excited to watch that 100 and as well as the Big 12 championship 100 meter men's. So looking for Sean Masson-Gagne. I believe Terrence Jones in the Big 12 as well. So, I'm looking forward to those guys and seeing what they do at conference. What about you, though?
Yeah, I was going to say the Big 12 as well. Like, something that I've loved right now, Sean, friend of the show, he's just embracing like this villain, being the villain right now, which is just like, I just love it. Like he's completely like, if you go onto his, TikToks or whatever it is, just like stirring the pot, like him. I can't wait for that NCAA championship. I'm hoping that we're seeing, Texas Tech. Sean, what's the guy from LSU that stared him down? Godson, the guy from USF. Like he's getting like, I don't know why everyone's staring down Sean. It's just like Laird was staring down Sean. Like people just love staring him down, which is ridiculous. But I'm looking forward to seeing him at Big 12s. That should be a good one. Another event on the another side of things that I'm excited for is just the Pac-12 women's pole vault. I know people don't talk about it a lot. They got Hannah Mole, the Mole sisters, the best event group over there with University of with Washington. They should be an exciting group to go and see, because PAX is not going to exist next year, which is just crazy how you're going to have Pac-12 schools, and Washington's going to be competing with freaking Rutgers University, which is crazy. But yeah, so it's going to be I'm looking forward to it. You got a lot of great competition here, and it should be good for conference championship for sure.
Yeah, man, conference is always lit. You always get, dudes let their nuts hang at conference, man, for sure. So I'm excited to see it, man.
To close this out, I mean, since we got our conferences, I don't know if you have any interesting conference stories from conferences, whether it's at Akron or at LSU, or shoot, maybe even high school. Just any interesting stories? No, I can't put you on the spot there. I don't know if you got anything.
On the spot, let me see. Interesting stories from conference. Well, you know what? It's not like the craziest story, but I remember when I was at LSU, I wanted to be a little bit different. When we were headed to conference, I knew it was going to be on ESPN. So I hit up my homegirl, Deja Green, and she's a designer, creative designer. And I was like, look, like I got these spikes. I want to, Kobe is my hero, my favorite athlete. So I want to try to incorporate something Kobe Bryant into my spikes. So I sent them out to her a couple weeks before a conference, and she sent them back, and she did the Grinch Kobe 6 theme on my spikes. And I stepped out, it was like pre-meet day, and I broke them out. No, my teammates ain't seen them, coaches, nobody saw them. And I broke them out. Everybody like, yo, like, what you got, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? And it was a big thing. And dudes still like come up to me now like, bro, I still remember the spikes that you wore at SECs, bro. Those was crazy. So, I still got them. I still got them with me, the vintage Kobe 6 Grinch spike, man, so that was probably like my favorite memory from conference. You got anything though?
Yeah, I got one. So this was 2018, my junior year of college. So the year before, this is the NEC, I no-heighted, and we ended up losing the conference championship, which would have been the first time we won in 19 years, by 8 points. And I was projected to win, which gets 10 points. So I felt like shit. So it's like, if I had just done that, and I was a captain of the team, sophomore captain of the team, so I was like, I took it really bad on myself, really, really poorly. And ended up, that's not the story. Just setting the scene of where it was. I want to go to what the actual story is. My junior year. So junior year, it's at home, conference championship. And so it's like a terrible rainy day, like both days for a conference championship. And so we're competing, and we're projected to get probably third. We're not looking to do too well. And so we're going through and competing. The one thing I didn't mention in my sophomore year was when I no-heighted, like I just started pouting. I was a jerk. I just made it all about me. Like I went into the corner. I didn't pay attention. I didn't help the teammates out. I was just like upset at myself, and I didn't help the team at all. Coach was not happy about that, as I'm sure you could probably imagine. And then junior year, so unfortunately I no-heighted again. It didn't go well. But like I took it differently, where it's like, all right, I didn't do what I needed to do, but I'm not going to let that stop me from making sure that this team does what we want to do. So I'm still cheering on my teammates, helping them out. And so it's looking really good. It started raining. We're down by 8 again, going into the 4x4. It's been pouring rain this entire time. And so right now, our coach is like, look, we're down 8. They had one of our multi-athletes. He was our best athlete that we had. He had already done 5 events at this point. He had done pole vault, high jump, 100, 200, 4x1 already at this event. And our coach looked over him. He was like, look, DJ, shout out DJ. We need you in this 4x4, man. We need you to do this. And so he's like, he's done 5 events. He's like dead. He's not in a really great spot to do it. He's like, all right, I'll do what you need, coach. He gets in this 4x4. So they're like, not only do we need to win, but we need to beat the team that is ahead of us, which was Central Connecticut, by 3 places because they were in first. Like, just point wise, we need to win and we need to beat them by enough. So we're lined up. It's been pouring rain. The second that the official says, like, runners to your mark, the rain stops and the sun comes out. It was out of a movie. Wild stuff. It's like, to your mark, set, bang. They go. We're running our first leg. He was a freshman at the time. He's holding the baton. It's super close. And then they gives it to our DJ, who's our multi. He gets ahead. We get into first place. The team that we need to come in 4th place is in 2nd, though, at the time. We just passed them. We keep going around. Then our 3rd place baton, he's our number one 100-meter runner. He had the school record at the time, Justin Kimball. He gets it, extends this lead. So now we're really, really far ahead, passes the baton to my roommate, Andrew, who then continues, brings it home. And so we win. And so we're all cheering. But then, like, our coach was like, wait, we have to, like, still look to see what happened. And it was a super close race between 3rd and 4th. It was between Wagner and Central Connecticut. They both leaned at the line at, like, the same time, and we didn't know who ended up getting it. So our hearts are, like, racing as, like, because it's taking what felt like an eternity, like, to actually show the results. And, like, it only has it on, like, the LED screen. It shows, like, Mount St. Mary's wins, like this, who was it 2nd? I can't remember. Maybe it was Sacred Heart 2nd. And then, so we're like, please say that Wagner was 3rd place so that Central Connecticut doesn't win. It said Wagner 3rd. Team goes crazy. we're just going nuts. Like, holy crap. You would have thought we won the freaking Super Bowl or national championship, man. First conference championship in 20 years. Still got the ring. It's not here with me. It's at the office, but super, super great moment. Just, like, bringing it home with the team, winning that. I know I didn't do what I wanted to do, but it was great to still have the team get it. So that was a cool moment for sure.
Yeah, man, you showed some growth too. Congrats on the title too, man.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah, that story had my heart beating, man. I was nervous for y'all.
He's like, dang, pick it up. Speed it up there, man.
Yeah.
I feel you. But awesome. So I hope you guys enjoyed another episode of our Track World News podcast. Like we said, conference championships are happening this upcoming weekend. So on Sunday, we'll break it all down for you of what's going on, what was some of our biggest takeaways, and previewing what NCAAs could potentially be. So any last words for the people, man?
Thanks for checking us out, man. Keep coming back. I'll see you next week, though, Colin.
All right. Peace.
Peace, brother.